Simply Full, the audiobook, page 37. Simply Full, the audiobook. It's called self-love and it's powerful. It is a solid foundation on which to build your life. It is the strength to value and pursue your heartfelt desires. It is the ability to be self-supporting and self-reliant. It is a constant source of forgiveness of self and others. It gives birth to the ability to alter and change anything about your own self or life that you wish to change. It allows you to accept others as they are and empowers you to leave others if how they are is abusive in any way. Self-criticism is the opposite. Self-criticism is the opposite of self-acceptance. Self-criticism does not help you change your size and shape. Self-criticism makes you feel bad about your size and shape. Self-criticism makes you feel bad about yourself when you are doing the very best you can to deal with your weight problem. Self-criticism depletes your energy and keeps you stuck in the eating patterns you wish to change. Change is not easy at the best of times, and self-criticism makes it even harder. Notice any self-critical thoughts and notice how they make you feel. Self-acceptance and change go hand in hand. Accepting where you are without the harsh judgment of self-criticism causing you pain and shame, you alter and change more easily. In looking at self-acceptance, we are looking at the attitude and frame of mind that makes change easier. You are in the process of changing your eating patterns. The pattern of eating when full is to be changed into the pattern of stopping when full. Many overweight people also have the habit of not eating when they are, in fact, physically hungry, and this needs to be changed into the pattern of eating when hungry, stopping when full. Two things help us change ingrained patterns of behavior. One, resolve those feelings underlying the pattern, and two, a non-judgmental, self-accepting attitude towards that pattern we'd like to change. Eating what you fancy when physically hungry. We usually go through an unhealthy food phase at the beginning of practicing eating when hungry and stopping when full, simply because I'm telling you to also eat exactly what you want when you want, as long as you are physically hungry. This unhealthy food phase happens especially if you have spent years denying yourself certain foods. Usually the high-calorie, sweet or oily foods, such as pastries, butter, chocolate, sweets or biscuits. I've even had clients that would avoid bananas and peanuts. Relatively healthy foods, in my opinion, compared with sugary cakes, biscuits or bread. Do not panic if you are seriously drawn, when hungry, to eat these so-called unhealthy foods. If you keep focusing on stopping when full, you will not gain weight. You may feel sluggish, but you will not gain weight. Let your focus be primarily on stopping when full and feeling your feelings over and above worrying about the type of foods you are eating. Once you have reassured yourself sufficiently through practice that you will never again deny yourself any type of food, you will automatically start to desire the healthier foods. Oily, sweet or calorie-laden foods, carbohydrates will be eaten, but in an inner motivated moderation, born from the experiential knowledge that to live off chips and chocolate and cake actually feels awful. Loving food. People often say to me, my problem is I love food. I always reassure them that loving food is not the problem. Eating when full is the problem. I've been naturally slim for well over 20 years now, and I adore food. So do not worry, you will still love food. You will simply no longer eat it when you are physically full. You will simply no longer be using it as a means by which you suppress your emotions. You will move into eating when hungry and stopping when full, and loving the tastes and textures all the more because you are hungry when you eat. You will discover the wonderful truth that food does indeed taste amazingly good when you are hungry when you eat it. Feeling feelings. Feeling feelings is the bottom line alternative to eating when full because of them. Feeling feelings gets you slim and keeps you slim. Life gives us challenges. Life gives us challenges to overcome. Life brings us lessons to be learned. We run away from our lessons, challenges, and feelings when we eat when full. Feeling our feelings, learning our lessons, and facing our challenges is part and parcel of living a fulfilling life. Life brings up feelings to be felt. Life brings us natural permanent weight loss when we stop when full. And stopping when full is easier when the reason you ate when full has been dealt with. It is good. It is good to seek help in dealing with life's challenges that cause you to eat when full. Depression, boredom, and stress can all be dealt with in ways other than eating when full. Find those other ways through using the methods outlined in this book and my other two books, True Slimness and Healing the Eating Habit. Use the amazing resource of YouTube for finding videos and audios and lectures on personal development and natural health and healing. One of my personal favorites is Hay House Radio on www.hayhouseradio.com, a free and wonderful self-help resource. What to eat. We all know what to eat. We all know what we should be eating. We all know which foods are good foods and which foods are bad foods. We all know what foods are healthy for us and what foods are not so healthy for us. It is the difficulty in practicing what we know that is the problem here. Lifestyle and eating habit changes are rarely easy unless we address the emotional reasons why we had that unhealthy habit or lifestyle to begin with. So again, I would bring you back to our much repeated pair of questions. What feeling is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? For the answers to these questions can help so much. Practice them as soon as you put this book down. Memorize them and get into the new habit of asking yourself them daily, especially every time you crave food when full, and you will be well on your way to natural permanent slimness through the use of these two questions. What feeling is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? In fact, if you crave anything, cigarettes, alcohol, food when full, ask yourself when the craving strikes, what feeling is this? What feeling is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? If the answer is the healthy alternative, get busy doing it. It will lead you out of all addictive behavior. Peace and permanent slimness lie in the resolving of emotional stuff that has the potential to drive us to the fridge when full. The way to a fulfilling life is opened when we stop when full and involve ourselves in activities, books, friendships, studies, work, and pastimes that we are genuinely interested in. Remind yourself often, eating when full serves a purpose. It suppresses feelings we do not want to feel. Feeling and dealing with the feelings is the antidote. Life has a way of fulfilling itself. Ask yourself today, what would a fulfilling life look like to me? Make a list of what activities would fulfill you. Pick one. What is one small step towards incorporating that activity into your life and simply take it? Eating when full. Eating when full is self-defeating behavior. It defeats us in our task of losing excess weight for good. It defeats us in achieving and maintaining good health to a greater or lesser extent. Eating when full defeats us in being able to resolve our feelings, for it merely suppresses them, leaving them festering below our level of awareness in the very fat cells of our bodies. Unresolved emotional issues, suppressed feelings, unmet challenges, and unmet needs are the root cause of all ill health and addiction, in my opinion. We indulge in self defeating patterns of behavior, like eating when full, which cause excess weight, because there is a payoff. This payoff is often hidden. We are not consciously aware that our eating when full will serve to, for example, protect us. But if we have a subconscious association between fat and protection, then that idea of fat providing protection will be there every time we feel threatened, and we will produce the urge to overeat. So I'll repeat that. We are not consciously aware that our eating when full will serve to, for example, protect us. But if we have a subconscious association between fat and protection, then that idea of fat providing protection will be there every time we feel threatened and will produce the urge to overeat. So, we must look at how we deal with this issue of our own protection and safety. Ponder the concept by asking yourself, how do I ensure that I am safe? There is nothing else to do. There is nothing else to do, so we indulge in the addiction. Coming out of addiction is all about creating something else to do that you enjoy and doing that. Also, of course, as I have mentioned before, and it bears repeating due to its phenomenal importance, resolving any emotional issue that the addiction may have been enabling you to suppress. So, again, key components here in dismantling any addiction and specifically eating when full is create and resolve. Create and resolve. Create involvement in what you are interested in and resolve uncomfortable emotions. Drum and dance. I believe drumming and dancing are crucial parts of society. To drum and dance with others has a bonding effect and a cleansing negative emotions effect too. It can also be an expression of positive emotions. It is a way of getting and allowing your spirit into your physical body, and it keeps you physically fit. It is no coincidence that there is an upsurge in classes on Nia dance, tango, and Zumba, as well as wonderfully fun drumming and percussion workshops. Natural voice choirs are also an extension of this, joining together in a form of creative expression and harmony. Think of it. When you drum with a group of people, your whole focus is on being in rhythm with one another, so the overall sound is good. Take that lesson into life. Our focus is on being in rhythm, in harmony with one another as we each live and involve ourselves in our own individual realms of interest. This simultaneously expressing who we are as individuals and as a unified entity. Often there is a tendency to swap addictions along the journey of recovery from compulsive eating. That means instead of eating when full, we start to drink a little extra wine or smoke more if we are already smokers, or if we have given up smoking, the urge to smoke again may return with intensity. Smoking won't help. To drink alcohol won't help. You may lose weight, but start or increase those other bad habits. Being slim with an increased drinking or smoking habit is really not the answer, and in my opinion, not success. So, if you find yourself drawn to indulge in any other addiction or feel you are still distancing yourself from your emotional issues and feelings, simply face your feelings by asking our old reliable addiction busting questions. What feeling is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? The healthy answers to those questions will put you firmly back on the right track. Habits of distraction. Habits of distraction are what I would call minor addictions and what we are to be aware of as we give up eating when full and start to lose the excess weight for good. For we are now firmly on the road of gaining practice at feeling our feelings more intensely, while tackling both the major problems and minor hiccups of life in new, exciting, and creative ways. Examples of habits of distraction: flicking through a magazine or flicking through TV channels full of things you're not really interested in, playing video games, incessantly talking, gossiping, etc. From the minor buzz of a mug of strong coffee or cocoa to the sugar high of too much cake, all these are habits of distraction that we can become aware of as we fine tune our awareness of ourselves, our actions, and the effect they have on our bodies and our lives. But this is advanced level stuff and generally simply unfolds for the individual as she continues her journey of freedom from food when full and any other addiction. If you are a person that says, well, I don't have any other problems except my weight, or my life is going really well, and it's just my weight that is the problem, then it is a shock when you start to cut back on the food you eat in an effort to lose weight and find that you feel a little off or uncomfortable or suddenly more aware of some half buried issue between you and your husband, co worker, boss, or mother in law, for example. You are faced with the previously hidden fact that certain aspects of your life are not as perfect as you thought. You have problems. This can be hard to wrap your brain around, and you may feel resistant to this uncomfortable awareness as it highlights new difficulties to be dealt with. As I mentioned before, but it bears repeating, knowing in advance that emotional resolving is part and parcel of the journey to permanent slimness is important preparation for handling those emotions when they come up. This knowing tends to ease the tendency to swap addictions in an effort to deal with that emotional stuff that life does indeed throw our way, and encourages us to look at healthy alternative ways of dealing with that self same emotional stuff. Codependency. Codependency is basically obsessing about how our partner should change rather than looking at ourselves. Our relationship may turn sour and we may refuse to leave, or we realize that it should have ended 2 years ago, but still we refuse to leave. This is being codependent. Staying with a partner who is either physically, emotionally, sexually, or psychologically abusive is codependency. He is the object of our addiction just as much as food when full, drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes. And it is all about avoiding our own emotional stuff. Living a life full of drama as the norm can also serve as a huge distraction from our own emotional issues and the often daunting, sometimes even painful task of resolving them. But it is more painful to stay stuck in the cycles of addiction and the lifestyle that involves. So, again, I will mention this truth. Addiction serves a purpose. It helps us deal with our unresolved feelings, issues, and emotional stuff, but in an unhealthy, self abusive way. To give up an addiction successfully, we have to find another way to serve that purpose of dealing with our feelings, issues, and emotional stuff, a healthier, self nurturing way. Simply Full, page 50. End of part 4. Simply Full is available from Amazon. Simply Full by Sophia Bothwell.